just happened? Knitting, 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 knitting. Dang, 114, how you doing? Why are we showing that it's loading? We're not loading. We here. Okay, just making sure. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everybody's doing so well this morning. All right, all right. Okay. So here's the dealio. I am prepped, you heard me. I have all my stuff and my things here. I am ready to go. I've got examples. Hello. We can come over here to actually knit here. I'm going to show y'all a couple examples. What I mean when I say scrubby is really anything that you need scrubbed, you can scrub with it, okay? Meaning, this right here is a little face scrubby right here that we can, I have half a mind to fold them over like this so you can put a finger in them. I have not decided yet if I'm going to, but there's a little face scrubby. I'm using my, if you've ever seen me knit, you've seen this pattern before. This here, I call it the hat pattern, the knit and purl, because it becomes very stretchy, even stretchier than it already is. That's why I really like the hat pattern. So I'm using that on this fella here. The only thing is that it takes a little bit longer to do. Here's some examples here of some scrubbies. You can use these to do dishes. You can use these as face scrubbies. That's what that guy's meant for. Get our examples out here. Or a full body scrubby. If you wanted to really go all out, you could even make a full body scrubby. You sure could. All right. Make sure we're zoomed out. Okay. All right. We can see all the way back to here. All right. We'll put, and I've got several different sizes as well to show other needles here. And put these needles back. Well, let's not put it in the bag. That looks terrible. And I've got a few little projects on these needles here. I was really just giving them for, you know, comparative purposes here. Trying to show you if you are trying to say go, you want to use this and actually do a scrubby, then I'm trying to give you some options. I really love this material. These scrubbies, I can't even remember what they're called now. Another super popular option that a lot of people like. Where's my scissor? Where my scissors at, yo? Oh, I think I left them in here. One second, let me grab my scissors. But it's this Scrub It, I think is what it's called. The Scrub It Here they are. Found them. So, anywho, like I was saying, pardon me, is Mamaw has babies for about an hour. I've got a couple things I need to do, but I've been promising a scrubby tutorial and promising a scrubby tutorial. So today, by God, we're gonna do a scrubby tutorial. Now these, I love circular knitting needles. I don't really know why. They are quickly becoming one of my favorite things to use. So there's that. But these are some options. You can also use these to knit anything from a hat. A lot of people like to join in the round, so anything that's going to be round, a sock, a sleeve, a hat, they're easy to use, but I'll even use them to knit straight things sometimes. It's really just all up to your preference, you know. There's no real rules when it comes to, I mean, other than the stitches. This is the other scrubby material that's become very popular lately. I've been trying to work with it, but I tell you what, I have quite honestly had a little bit of trouble, just a little, using my smaller gauge needles. So I'm actually going to try and get a bigger one here. Let me come back and make sure. Okay, just make sure I've got everything all set up. Got it. Okay. I'm just going to do a little test, if you will, real quick with this fella, just to see maybe if I use a slightly bigger needle, if that'll be helpful. And then we're going to get right into the toot of the tutorial. See, this is really difficult because the actual, you know, quote unquote yarn is got all these little, Justin, good morning, good morning. It's got all these little scrubby thingy holes, so it's a little bit more difficult to work with. I think that's become my biggest problem, really, because then when you go to grab it with a different knitting needle, and I'm sure there's plenty of people who have tutorials using this stuff, I think I might have to end up using a crochet hook, because it just hooks in everything accidentally, and that becomes a thing. Well, it didn't that time. Of course, the time I'm talking about it. But then again, I just said I've been having problems with the smaller ones. Maybe I just fixed my own problem. Maybe I just actually needed to use a bigger size all along. No, see, that's what it just did there. Why do you give me trouble? I don't know. I'm going to have to figure this stuff out. I'm really excited to use it because it's super scrubby. So, I don't know. But when I'm comfortable using that I know well is are these fellas, and you can really use any type of needle. Like I said, I showed off the circular needles. We can use the double-sided needles, although I don't use them very often. Today I'm going to use these Buttes. I love my sparkly knitting needles, so I'm going to use those today. But you can really use anything laying around or anything you're comfortable with. If you already have supplies. If not, I got at Walmart a set of 3 of these. They're 3 different sizes. Pretty good sizes as well. I think this is actually the biggest one, for I want to say $6 or $7. And then I got a skein of this here Scrub It yarn for I want to say $5 or $6. So all in all, if you've already got a pair of scissors, you can buy these 2 things for $12-13, and bam, that's really all you need to spend to make your own scrubbies. And I can make, depending on the size, several. One this size, I could easily make, I don't know, 5, 6 out of one skein. And this one's going to be maybe double to triple that size, because that's going to be like this size. See, I'm making more of a hand size, like a wash rag size one with that. So you really don't have to spend a whole lot on the materials, and just make till your little heart's content. I'm going to do kind of a smaller scrubby today, just for the simple fact that, you know, it won't take quite as long. And once you get the basics down, it's pretty easy to, you know, figure out the rest. I can do some follow-ups if I need to, but I have all the faith in you guys. the people who come and hang out are usually pretty intelligent, so. Oh, I didn't even show how to do that. Okay, so to begin, I'm terrible at tutorials. To begin, we're going to take one end of our string, this is the actual end, and pull the length. You're going to eventually use this like this to start your stitches. So you want to pull a length big enough for your stitches. For this small of a thing, about a foot is perfect, I believe. About a foot should be perfect. Then you're going to take it like this, super, super simple, right? I'm going to show this. You're going to twist it, right? Grab it, pull it. Simple little knot. I'll do that again. Hold on, let me get over here so we can make sure I'm showing it. Grab it, twist it, pull this side, bam, just like that. I'm going to redo it off camera because I got a little too far down. But yeah, there we go. TJ, how you doing? Good morning, dear. We're just making a quick little scrubby, a quick little how-to scrubby. All right, now you're going to put the needle through there, like so, and then you're going to have the, you know, one that connects to the skein, obviously, but then you're going to have this little tail, okay? You want the little tail to be on the right side, like this, and then you're going to come in, see, here's the tail's hanging off like this. You're going to grab like this, okay? And here's how we're going to start our stitches. You can also anchor down here if that makes it easier for you. We're going to come through the left, loop through the right, bring it all the way through, and pull it in. This is how we begin any stitch in knitting. We're going to loop through the thumb and then bring all the way through from the finger. Hey, Poor Dirt Farmer, how you doing, darling? Knitting, by the way, a great thing to do for prepping, because if you know how to knit, you can make everything from clothes to scrubbies to sheets and blankets. You can make a whole lot of things. So, one more time, we're going to get under the thumb and then all the way through from the finger. I hope I'm showing that all right. That's kind of a hard step to show. You're going to grab from there, but bring it all the way through. And then, of course, once you get used to it, you get a lot quicker and, you know, no biggie. We have 10. I'm only going to go to, let's see. Let's see what 13 looks like. I think 13 is perfect. Now, you could continue. You could do 20, 30. I have one that I made, I want to say 50 or 55 stitches, and it's one of those really long but thin body scrubbies. It worked well. I really liked it. Now, what I like to do, and this is not by any means a must, is I like to go ahead when I know I'm done with my stitches there, and I like to create a little loop that we can hang this from when it's done. Just like, oh no, I pulled him through. Listen here, you. Listen here, you. How we doing this morning? You as well, TJ. You have a great day, darling. Oh my gosh, that's too funny. Mama, you are just too funny. Okay, look, listen. Just bear with me 1 second, okay? I swear I know what I'm doing here. Okay. Now we're going to try this again. We want to get real close over here. And then we want to bring this fella. You can even use, sometimes I'll use, my hands are not working as well as they should be today. I woke up and my right hand was completely numb. I have carpal tunnel, go figure. Knitting probably doesn't help, but I enjoy it, so it is what it is. So you can cheat and use that to pull it through. See? There we go. Now he's perfect, and get him nice and tight without pulling him all the way through. And you can make it bigger or smaller, and that's what it'll look like with your little loop. But again, you don't have to do that to the end. if you're just beginning, it can get kind of tight, and it can be kind of intimidating to do that as well. Let me know if you can't see me, pardon me, or if I'm doing all right here. I feel like I've got my other phone for reference. I know the lighting isn't perfect, but I feel like we're okay. All right, now we're going to do the simplest stitch, in my opinion. We're not going to do the hat stitch today. Now what we'll do is we'll go through on our loop here. We go loop by loop. It's the easiest thing in the world, I promise. We're going to go through from the back right quadrant, if you will, below the knitting needle, below the left. And we're going to wrap this around, and we're going to carefully bring it back on through, and that's it. And that's your first stitch. The second, don't mind that knot. The second, same thing, bring her through. Oh, bring her through all the way, knock her off. And the third, bring her through, boop, knock her off. And there are little knots down there. Eventually I'll cut that tail off as well. And wrap her around, knock her off. Wrap it, knock it. And through, wrap, off. 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 Oh no! If that happens, no biggie. Just put those right back in there. Okay? Nothing wrong with a little slippity slip sometimes. That's the only thing I don't like about non-wooden knitting needles, any of them that are acrylic like this, or the metal ones, is they get slippery. That's the only bad thing, in my opinion. Make that tail just a little shorter. There we go. So this is our first link, our first little stitch here, and we're literally just going to rinse and repeat. That's it. Super, super simple. Hope everybody's doing so well today. My goodness, I am just struggling today. I'm telling you, my hands don't want to work. Which is like, oh, then why would you do the knitting stream? I was going over in my mind several things I could do, and I just figured this might be one that would be good. People have been asking me for more knitting, and I feel like it could be really useful, you know. Those of you that like to try and make things, especially like to save money, for example, because like I said in the beginning, you can spend $12, $13, under $15, you know. A good quality scrubby like we'll have at the end of this will be no less than 10 or 15 at the store, just one of them, with less than $15 worth of materials, which is just all you really need, assuming you already have scissors, although these were like $3. All you really need is a set of needles, and they usually, you can get quite a few sets for reasonable. I got these in a set of 3 for $6 or $7, and then I got this skein for $6 or $7 as well. This is somewhere around there. So somewhere between $12 and $14, and say you're making a scrubby this size, I can make 5 or 6 of these at least with one skein. And bigger sizes, like what this will be when I'm done with it, is just another example here of a different stitch as well. That's the hat stitch if you weren't here at the beginning, but those I can make at least 2 or 3, so it's quite a bit of savings if you ask me. Hey Ben, good morning, good morning. Your weenie oh my gosh, funny you mentioned that. Hold that thought. Hold that thought, Ben. I had half a mind to make a really little one, like just as a joke. This guy though, you're gonna die. Whoopah! Weenie coat. Weenie coat. Obviously, not actually a weenie coat, but I thought of you so hard when I made it. I was like, I swear I'm gonna send it to him just as a joke. It's meant for like holding popsicles and stuff, so that the kiddos don't get super cold hands. But as soon as I got done with it, you'd made that joke one day. yeah, I was thinking of making like a little bitty one just to be funny, but yeah, I made that for them, and as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, you know what would work perfect for that? The finger muff, yeah. Exactly that. Little finger protector. And also, you might notice your first couple stitches, when you do come back around, will get a little bit loose, which is okay. Just pull them in there tight. They'll be all right. Pull them in there tight. They'll be all right. Shall be my new motto. Ben should like that one. And I really, really hope, Muirhead, hello, darling. How are you, Unc? How are you doing? I was so glad to see you this weekend, by the way. Absolutely made my weekend. I was so happy. I might. He's just over here hanging out. Look at him. Look at him. But I'm telling you what, yarn bowls are so... I'll tell you what, you can make a killing off yarn bowls too, because they're like $30, $40, $60 for no reason. Now, if it was handmade, I would not mind to pay that. But these are like acrylic, definitely like a lot of the same ones, like from a mold type stuff. And I'm like, are you for real right now? The market's not cornered on them yet, you know, still competitive. Shave the beard and cut. Yeah, you need to cut your hair too. I've been telling you that. You know, if you go live, I'll come in. Even if I can just say hi. I'm definitely going to get a nap in at some point after the kids get in here. It's kind of beautiful. It looks icky, but it feels good outside, which is just, you know, of course it does and is. Also, one of those things a lot of people never ever think of until they're actually doing it. I have weird aversions to materials, so I do this anyway, but I always keep, not sponge, in my cute little bag. I always keep some lotion. I also highly recommend this if you're gonna be working with something like the scrubby material. ASMR, huh? You hear that? It can be rough on the hands. I'm just saying. It'll dry the hands out for sure, especially in wintertime. Just a little piece of advice. Yes, he usually does. Heck yeah. For tax purposes. Oh, that should be fun. Ugh. If I ever, like... I don't know, I'm gonna start my Shopify if I start actually doing well with like orders and stuff, and you know, to the point where I need to, I'm just gonna hire an accountant. I'm definitely not doing all that on my own, because I don't want or need the IRS to be knocking on my door. You heard me? Ain't nobody need that. And these are what we're looking like so far. And you kind of pull these stitches out a little bit because they get tight when you're doing them. You can floof them. Oh, I'm going to switch temporarily to these fellas just to show you a little something different. Yarn ball is yarning. And once again, in case we didn't catch it, we're going to go through from behind. Ben, don't make a dirty joke. Loop the yarn around and bring her all the way through. Knock it off. Bam. Through, around, through, down. Through, around, through, down. Oh, I don't know if you can see that very well. Let me show you one more time up close. Through, around, down, and through, down. I'm no expert at the tutorials, but hopefully you're able to see this pretty well. It might also be a little confusing with two different needles. Yeah, I walked right into that one, didn't I? I sure did. Oh, it's too funny. I did. I walked right into that one. But I'll tell you what, these, I've given these as gifts as well. I thought about putting some up for sale, like, you know, Facebook Marketplace, my Shopify when I finally get my ish together, etc. Because I see them selling, you know, like people want them. And, you know, I just have not quite gotten there yet, but the cheat code for life, yep, yep. Yep. Ben's giving you all the secrets. I keep hearing car doors, but nobody's here. So I don't know what the neighbors are doing, if they're on some BS or what. Alright, here we go. One more time. From behind. And wrap it. And come through. And knock it off. No, I feel like maybe the wooden ones actually show a little better. I'm gonna go under that one. Wrap him. Bam. So we're just gonna keep doing that. And you'll start to see very quickly we have something emerging that looks a whole lot like a little scrubby. And also you can crochet them in such a way where there are different shapes. You can do circles. I've seen flowers. I've seen all types of stuff. I am not that far along in my knitting and crocheting journey, so I don't know how to do all that. I know how to make these beginning to end, and I'm pretty proud of that feat because, you know, it's like not even a year, about a year I've been knitting. When it really starts getting warm again, that'll be about a year. And started knitting in the worst of time. Oh, that would be so exciting. You're too sweet, Muri. You really are. Anytime I knitted, I could plug you, have your link ready on the clipboard, be like, do you like my yarn bowl? I got it from Your Head Pottery. Follow the link. Little cross promotion. I've still got to send you your hat. I have money in the PayPal. I got to text you. You text me. Text me so I don't forget. Because I'm so forgetful. But I've actually got to go out tomorrow anyway. And so I feel like I could definitely get that figured out and get it to you. Because I've been saying it and it's literally, it's ready. He's ready. Oh, I'll show you in there a second. He's actually sitting right beside me in my little ready bag. Ready hat bag. That's full of, is what she said. Yep. Oh. Hawk feathers. Ooh, to put in your cowboy hat. That sounds fun. We love hawk feathers in a cowboy hat. Well, I know you're not worried, but I want to get it to you because, I mean, soon it's going to be warm, so if I don't get it to you, you're not even going to be able to wear it. And we are getting there. This is probably about half, maybe a little over a third of where we're going to be. I'm just making a little feller today for example purposes. But here in my bag, oh, which reminds me, I'm going to show y'all these ideas for future little tags I got for gifts, which I'm excited about. But here in my amazing bag of tricks, right here on the side, where it's nice and special, out of the way, out of the way. Hoppa! Look at him. He's even got a floof. I know he looks like he's thin, as in not very big, like what adult could wear that, but he's quite stretchy. Him is stretchy. Don't tell the fuzz. Okay, just between us. That's our Muri hat. A little floof for the floof. I have a heat gun. That's the very, very last step. It's right over there. I need to do it. And I usually take, because if you see, since it's freshly knitted, he's got some fuzzies. See? And so I'll take a heat gun and hold it like yay far away and just hit it with that heat gun so it shrinks up all those fuzzies. It also helps to do it at the ends so they don't unravel. So I'll hit it with that before I send it your way. We don't want anything unraveling. Yes, that's part of your trademark. I am so glad you like it. I'll show you these while I got them out. My long time Come here. Oh no! Little tag things, little artisan tags, if you will, to let people know things are homemade. For the longest, I've used these, which I still really like. I do enjoy them. They're leather. They're in many different colors with the little yarn. It just says handmade. They're too cute. I really like those. They're still some of my favorites. And because they already have those anchor points, they're some of the easiest ones to, oh, actually, I have two things left because I still got to put one on yours, Miri. They're some of the easiest to anchor in, like on a hat. But I've got some new ones also. Look at these poofs. Aren't they so cute? Little floofs. I had to get them. And look at those. Those are some good anchors too. I'm excited to try those. I haven't used that type yet. Oh, there's already some in here. Would you look at that? Oh yeah, these are just my backups. That's why they were in here. I was wondering why they were in this. Now I recall. Now I recall. Okay, you belong in here. That's some of those same ones I just showed you. Then these I found at Christmas time. Oh, I never thought about that, Ben. That's too sweet. Found these around Christmas time, which I love. I feel like they have raw edges, quote unquote. There's not like a border on the edges, so I feel like I could hit them with a heat gun after I throw a couple stitches in, and that actually work really well to, you know, anchor them, make sure they're there to stay. Although attaching these, they're embroidered woven labels, would be a little bit more difficult. I think they're the most adorable. There's some that are have little cowgirl boots I thought about getting when some of y'all were with me at the yarn store that day. Oh, whoops, I wasn't even showing you. Made for me. How cute are those? Is that not adorable? There's that one. I felt like those would be good. I've started making several different things. I made myself some little leg warmers, just little thin strips that go at the top of your boots so your calves don't get cold. And these just require a couple stitches. They're pretty neat. Handmade. I could even throw these in with the Stitched with Love or something, you know. Those are the different types of handmade labels that I have. I like them. That's really cool, Ben. Catitude. Oh, wow. Oh, that's so funny. Have I seen them in your chat? I feel like I've seen that name before. That is adorable. Hats for cats. Man. You know what I've thought about doing is, I don't know if you've seen I call it gluing stream. That's what I call when I put the hat that's ready to go together, but it's just a strip. I call it gluing it when I actually weave the two sides together. And I've thought about doing that, but the last step before you glue is you go through, like here, let me get an example here. Here's my needles, right? And we have a hat that's just all along here. And in order to make it that strip, but with the top joined, what you'll do is you'll like leave it on and take your remaining tail and weave it through, and then you can bring it off the needle and then you pull it real taut. However, you don't have to pull it taut because the structure is there. And I don't know if you've seen, but they have these cute little hats that have a hole at the top that's meant for a ponytail or like a bun, and I really want to make some of those. I feel like I could actually sell those, but better yet, I feel like I could actually wear them because I do buns and ponytails a lot of the time. So, you know. Oh, I don't know. That's a lot to ask from me. I don't know that I can do elephant ears, although I did make an elephant. Oh, it's gonna unglue if I bring it now. There's an elephant literally at the end of this table made out of paper plates, I swear to God. You see him back there? Do you see him back there? That's what I was making with the kids earlier. So funny you should bring that up. They love elephants. So we were making elephants out of paper plates. And all this pulling that you see me do on the first couple stitches is not necessary. I just like the things that I make to be like taut, 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 you know. You don't have to do that. You could literally leave it just as it is, and it ain't gonna hurt nothing. The stitches will be a little looser. Something like this, though, they're not gonna be super tight regardless. You're using a little bit of a bigger gauge. It's a scrubby. They don't have to be. You know, for those perfectionists out there, I'm sorry, y'all. For those perfectionists that are like, you know, why are you doing that? What will mine do if I don't do that? Because those are the types of things I think when I see somebody do something on the video. If I'm not doing it the same way, you don't have to worry about that. Knitting, you know, just get you a skein. If you're interested in doing this, a skein of this scrubby stuff. You can get it from Walmart, you can get it from Hobby Lobby, any craft store, anywhere that has yarn, lots of yarn, not a couple things of yarn like Target. If there's quite a bit of yarn, I can almost guarantee they have this. A craft store near you will certainly have this. And if not, you could also get it on Amazon for even cheaper in some cases, depending on the color. So it is easily attainable and affordable. And your needles don't have to be anything special. These are some of the Takumi double pointed needles. They're not the cheapest in the world. You definitely do not need them to make little scrubbies. You can have any type of needles. I was showing off some of my regular silver bottoms earlier. I have these gorgeous. These came in a set of 3 and they're all sparkly. I have gold, pink, and blue. Actually, I have one of the blue ones somewhere close by. I just saw him. Where'd you go, Blue? Where'd you go? I don't know. I'll find them soon. You can use some of the circular needles. Actually, I'll switch over to some circular needles here in a second. Actually, I don't know if I will. Don't let me lie to you because, let me see if there's one that I don't want to use too small of a size. Point being, you can use pretty much any needle. Any needle you can think of should be a-okay. As long as it's, obviously the size. Right now, I'm at an 8mm. 8? Yes. Or size 11. I didn't even talk about the sizing. I began on, I want to say a 6. Yeah, a 6. Maybe even a 5mm. Really, I can't even remember what the instructions, quote unquote, the little thing that wrapped this up that told you what gauge to use. I don't even recall what it was. I want to say it might have even been as big as a 10, which I'll show you a 10. Hold on. Oh, you hear me popping? I'm getting old, y'all. Let me show you the difference. This is a 10mm. She big. This one's long in particular as well, but just a little bit of a difference. But I'd say you could use anything from, I mean, this is like a 4, so I wouldn't go that small. Yeah, 4.5. So I would stick with 5 or 6 to 8, personally. For this, gauge of yarn, mind you. You know, all gauges require different sizes, obviously. Oh, really? I've never actually Googled that. Good to know, Ben. Good to know. That's too funny. Oh, I wonder. These have got it. I don't know where that thing is, though. I don't know where in the world my larger fellas are. What size are they on? I'm gonna come back to these fellas. I like having a little bit of security that they're not gonna fall off. That's my biggest thing. But as it really use pretty much anything. That's the only reason I'm really going back and forth, is to try and show the versatility, if you will, that you're able to really use whatever. If you already are somewhat into knitting and crocheting, I'm sure you'll have the supplies, as in needles and whatnot. Needles are pretty much it, other than scissors for this particular project. Unless you want to put something like a tag if you're selling them. I'm sure you have something laying around you can use, but if not, just go into your local Walmart. They definitely have needles. The yarn's questionable. I'm pretty sure they have Scrub It. And I'll tell you what, the quality of these are amazing. I actually really enjoy the scrubbies, these ones in particular. I struggle with eczema, right? It's not too bad, thank God, but it's uncomfortable, especially in the wintertime. The wintertime is when it gets the worst. And I will have dry patches if I don't exfoliate, right? I gotta scrub, or I'll have those little plaques, is what they're called. But if you exfoliate well enough, most of the time, depending on the severity, I'm not trying to speak to anybody else's experience, but for me, myself personally, if I exfoliate well enough, I have next to none of them. So I find a good, oh my gosh, a good exfoliating scrubby important, and I really enjoy these for that. They are rough enough, but not rough enough that's gonna like tear your skin up, if that makes sense. Unless you have incredibly, well, not even if you have sensitive skin, I would say just don't, just adjust your pressure. I'm confident in saying anybody could use these. Now the other one I showed you, the pink one that had no yarn in it and was just scrubby material, that might be different. But this is, I'll have to show you the end of it. There's yarn inside this scrubby material, so there's quite a bit of give to it as far as, you know, the roughness of it, if you will. If you can see how there's that, it's like fluffy yarn in there, and then the scrubby stuff kind of coats it, so it's not too rough. Not too rough indeed. I'm probably only going to go ahead and throw 3 or 4 more rows in here, and then I'll show you guys how to tie off the end, because like I said, I didn't really need a huge one, just kind of going today to show the how-to part. I've specifically been asked about scrubbies. A lot of people say they'd like to see more knitting, but there have been, once I mentioned scrubbies, face scrubbies, body scrubbies, dish scrubbies, you could really use this for anything. There were actually 2 people I can think of that were like, I want to see how to do that. And it's really, you know, as I told you at the time, it is super simple. I honestly don't mess with a whole lot of the complicated knitting and crocheting. Like, I've got the materials to do all kinds of jump stitches and the like the cable stitches. I've got all the kinds of needles that you just saw that you can do all that complicated stuff, but I really haven't gotten into it for the simple fact that I haven't needed to. I mean, I can make, you know, blankets, towels, scrubbies, socks, hats. I haven't tried a sweater yet, but I'm pretty confident I could make one. And so I've just never needed, I haven't made anything yet that's required me to use any of those things to learn those skills. But perhaps a fun thing to do, I have thought about doing a video where I follow a tutorial for something complicated when it comes to knitting that I've never tried, like doing the cable stitching or one of those like amigurumi animals with crochet. I've thought about that because I think it would be informative and fun also, like, but also funny and hilarious to see me get, you know, to be like overly frustrated, because I get frustrated with myself if I don't get things quick, because I'm, you know, I'm just hard on myself. I'm a perfectionist, and so I'll be like really frustrated, but then super proud of myself when I actually figure it out. So it should be a range of emotions, you know, all of which you guys can enjoy from the comfort of your phone. Oh no, come back here. Where do you think you're going? You better come back here. You are my stitch. Thank you. And like I was talking about the hat stitch over there, the other one that I'm working on, and how it's extra stretchy. You really don't even need for it to be that terribly stretchy, because like I said, these are made to be pretty good and stretchy. I'm just, I really like the hat stitch, the way that it looks, also the way it has that different pattern. I really enjoy that, and it does have that even extra stretch. That's the only reason I'm doing that pattern in that one. Definitely not a necessary thing. Just wing it, just wing it. We'll figure it out. Alright, I am going to go ahead and end this one. I feel like it's actually quite a perfect size for a little face scrubby in relation to my hand, which is a large lady hand. That's a pretty good size scrubby. So this is what we'll do to end. You're going to go let me get on this side. You're going to go 2 stitches at a time to end off any row, right? So what I mean, we're going to go and we're going to get 1, and then we're going to get 2, and wait, then we're going to take this one that's behind. You can also use a crochet needle for this if you want. Here, I'll show you exactly how. Sometimes I can find it to be easier, but it's not at all necessary. You can also just pull it right through. But I know a lot of people who will come here and then take a little crochet needle, since it's got a needle, and grab this one, right, to bring it over like that. But again, you definitely don't have to do that. And then you don't have to, how before I was pulling it tight, pulling it tight, pulling it tight, you don't have to do that in this stage. Just kind of let it rest. And we're going to do that. We never want more than 2 stitches at a time on our working needle, right? So we get another one, and then we come in, we pull the back one through, just like that. Come back here. Like that. Then there's these 2. Take this back one. Now look here. You're making me look silly, yarn. I'm sorry. It's my hands are not working, y'all. You have to excuse me just a little bit today. Oh, you little mother trucker. There we go. Goodness gracious. Two, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1. Binding off can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. It's a whole lot of fun when you're making something big like a blanket, let me just tell you. A whole lot of fun. Can you imagine doing this for an hour? This would also be, if you were to be crocheting, it's a little easier because you have the needle already there that you're actually casting from. But, I knit, so mostly I do some crochet. If you don't quit dropping stitches today, Leah, this is not the perfect tutorial. I am so sorry for it, guys. I will be making many more, so I'll definitely make another one when I have more than one functioning hand. I'm so sorry. I'm not saying that to complain, by the way. I thank God I have working hands at all. I'm just saying that to explain why I seem to be fumbling everything. Okay, so here we are at our last 2 stitches, right? We're gonna wrap one around so we don't drop it, because that's gonna be our tail. Then we're gonna bring here, and we can pull a little bit on that last one, and boop, we have a little loop. Now this is the only way. See, Nancy, if you were to have pulled that super tight, binding it off, see, it would have like bowed it and been super weird. That's why I said you didn't have to worry about doing it tight on that one. Heck yeah, more to come. Large lady hand, yep. Gunsling? I've never tried. Although probably I could. Actually, probably I could. I could just do a couple of stitches so they'd be like, you know, even thinner than this. Maybe do like 3 or 4 stitches and do like 100 rows of them. Make it really long. Now you can do this part absolutely any way you want to. I just cut off our tail and I just brought it through like this. Now, if you recall, I have already made us a little hangy thing, right? And I'm gonna actually take him. I'm gonna get me a little, these tiny little needles come in handy for stuff like this. I'm gonna poke through any random area, right? I'm gonna pull him through so that his little tail kind of disappears. That's gonna be our little hangy thing on this side. So I'm actually just gonna take this after I pull him through one more place just to be super, super sure. Oh, a lighter also helps, by the way. I almost lied. That's one more thing you need. I'm gonna pull him through one more place. Any place, it doesn't have to have any rhyme or reason, right? And bring him down here. Alrighty, see, so the tail's got a couple extra stitches in there. And you can just go ahead and cut that off right flush, but carefully. Just like that, right? And then, where's our lighter? Let me find out. I can't find anything I need today. I thought I was prepared, y'all. I thought. Oh, I know exactly what it is. Give me 2 seconds. I know. I'm a mess. Gunslings. What an interesting idea, Ben. I bet I could knit a gunsling. I can't believe Ryan's never thought of that. Alright, we're going to re-find where that flush cut was, which is easy because you can see the little yarn side of it. See him hiding in there? He thinks he's hiding. I've got my little lighter here. And what you want to do is you want to use the heat, not the flame, to kind of... You can also use a heat gun for this. I'll show you that in another video. But you really just want to use the heat from the flame without putting the flame on it, because I'll show you what happens if you do that. Two things happen. One, it's too intense. Two, you see how there's those little black marks? If you do not use the flame, but just the heat from the flame, which is why a heat gun also works perfect. See how it melts it down without creating that black mark? Just kind of put them close enough. Bam. There's our scrubby with handle and all. And yes, it just kind of naturally does this thing. Scrubby with handle and all. There she is. Motif, hello, darling. How are you? Yes, me too. And they're swollen. Like, you see how swollen even my finger is right now? And how red? And that's before... Look at my knuckles. Now, it's a lot worse in my right hand. I'm a little swollen in my left. I also just have sausage fingers, and from that burn that I had, that little incident, it can get bad too, but like the right hand gets a lot worse, which is of course the hand I use for everything, so that's no fun. But I will also show you guys real quick. Here, let me get some of this stuff out of my way. I need that one. Here's our little scrubby. We got 2 scrubbies and a weenie coat. Get all that out of my way. Ooh, shoot. I'm glad Miri liked his hat. I mean, he already saw it. I can't remember if I sent him a picture of it in its full glory with its fluff on there. I think it's possible I only sent him a picture before the floof was added. But I'm so glad he liked it. Anytime I'm actually making something for somebody sincerely, I fear they're not going to like it for some reason. Insecurity unlocked. Oh no. Oh my gosh, I just threw the yarn. Come here. You little son of a... Good morning, good morning, good morning. So good to see you, Motif. It feels like forever. I know it hasn't been. You're almost always in here. But it feels like it's been forever. I also didn't do a live yesterday, so I've been up and down with my sickness. Oh, you can't even see the weenie coat. Did I zoom in by accident? Look here. I was showing these off here. Come on. Show the weenie coat. You know, it's so weird. I really take, like, my homemade stuff and the gifts that I make from my heart seriously. When it comes to, like, my personality, if people don't like me, I'm like, well, fuck you, you know? Like, why would I care? But if I invest my heart into something, I want somebody to enjoy it, you know? Weenie coat. Scrubby, scrubby weenie coat. But yeah, I'll also show this just real quick. The whole difference. This is what I call the hat stitch. We're going to do the same exact thing that we did, except it's twice as complicated. Not really, kind of. That's called a knit. The stitch that we just did is a simple knit. Then we're going to purl, which is the opposite. We're going to bring our yarn back here. We're going to come through like this. We're going to wrap, pull through from the back, and then drop. So it's the exact opposite of a knit. And then you go knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and that's what makes the hat pattern. It's more complicated, and it took me longer than I'd like to admit to really be able to do it right. But once you finally get used to it, it becomes just as easy as knitting. And I mean, you can also knit a hat without that knit purl, what I call the knit pattern. You could knit it and it just be this type of stitch, and that would be fine. But I think, like I said, it just looks better. That's a personal preference. You know, everybody feels different about what looks good, but I think it looks better, and it's also stretchier. The nature of the pattern makes it stretchier. That's the point of the pattern, is so it'll give it extra stretch. So I feel like it's perfect for a hat, you know, because it needs to be a little stretchy, which is why a lot of my hats also look kind of slender. They don't look like they're super, super wide. It's for exactly that reason, because it will stretch to at least twice its size, 100%. Sometimes even more, depending on the yarn. That's why I don't have to make them super huge, because they'll just kind of, you know, fit to size. One size fits most, for sure, unless you have a super abnormally large or super abnormally small, which is also a case that I've seen. Head, it should fit you. So you even notice in this scrubby, I did exactly the same thing. My hanger is a little bit larger because the towel's a little larger, but I did the same thing and prepared my little hanger there. And I'll end up weaving that tail through as well, just like we did on the other one. I'll have to make another whole tutorial for a hat. I actually have all the materials set aside, the yarn and the needles specifically. And see, if this is about a third of what it's going to be, it's going to end up being relatively long, like a washcloth size, like I said. And it'll be this stretchy pattern, so it'll be good to stretch. Amen, Ben. Isn't that the case? Maybe not love me, maybe my big thing, like my insecurity unlocked, quote unquote, would be like, don't judge me, right? That's one of my biggest insecurities, is people are like secretly judging me. Not that they don't like me. A lot of people misunderstand that statement. I don't mean judging me to say I don't like her personality, her whatever. I don't really care if you like me. I feel like they're judging me as if she is a bad person. That's what my fear of judgment is. Isn't I personally don't, you know, click with her or whatever it might be, but I'm judging her and therefore think she's not a good person. That is the fear I have of being judged, because I like my personality and I have to live with me more than anybody else. So, you know, it doesn't really matter to me. But that's the fear. Well, it's been so fun. These babies are going to be back in about 13 minutes. So that's just enough time for me to clean up our little craft here and vacuum this floor one more time since there's a little yarn pieces in it now. Same. Oh my God, there's so much mom guilt in me as well. Even though I'm sure you're a great dad, like I'm sure I'm a great mom. I feel good about being a good mom, but it's I feel like I've known other dads to feel that way, but they were in similar positions to yours, Ben, where it's like a stay-at-home dad situation. The stay-at-home mom, there is so much guilt. Like, are they having too much screen time? Are they eating healthy enough? Like, even if you're literally like following pediatrician's orders, looking at like national averages and cutting it in a quarter, like whatever you could possibly be doing the absolute best for your kids, it's always just that guilt. Like, is it good enough, quote unquote? I don't think you're a bad dad at all, for the record. I think you're a great dad. But yeah, that's the big thing for me too. So I totally understand. And this is where this is literally my knitting lotion. This is where he goes, so that I can dispense some right to my hands. Little things you don't think about unless you actually knit. / crochet / make jewelry. Jewelry making is bad for that as well. But thank you so much for joining us today, y'all. I'm going to have to also charge this phone, but thank goodness it's not my regular phone. Haha, see, Ben, this right here's the iPhone. Look what I did, eh? It was smart, eh? But I love you guys so much. We might come back later. We'll see what's going on. It's been a weird week. We've gotten a lot done over the last weekend, the past couple days. I'm going to have to post some pictures. We got cabinets and shelves up, and organization is happening. I'm really proud of us. Good stuff. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Ben. I'll see you soon, I'm sure. And until next time, y'all all remember to take care of yourselves, all right, and each other.